You wake up. For 1 second, you are still inside it. A hallway that didn't exist. A conversation with someone who died years ago. A feeling so vivid your chest is still tight with it. Then you reach for your phone. And by the time the screen lights up, it's gone. Not faded. Gone? You didn't lose the memory. Your brain never let you keep it. And the real reason is far stranger than forgetting. For most of human history, nobody thought dreams were meaningless. Ancient cultures treated them as messages. Prophecies. Visits from the dead. The idea that a dream was just noise, just static your brain throws off while it sleeps, is actually a very modern belief. So which is it? Are dreams trying to tell you something, or are they nothing at all? To answer that, you have to go inside the sleeping brain. Specifically, you have to go to a stage of sleep called REM. Rapid eye movement. Your eyes dart back and forth under closed lids. Your muscles go almost completely limp, so you can't act out what's happening in your head. And your brain, somehow, becomes almost as active as it is right now, reading this sentence. That last part surprised scientists for decades. Brain scans during REM sleep show activity levels close to full waking consciousness. Your visual cortex lights up. Your emotional centers, especially a structure called the amygdala, surge with activity, sometimes more than they do while you're awake. Meanwhile, the part of your brain responsible for logic and self-control, the prefrontal cortex, goes quiet. Almost offline. Sit with that for a second. A brain with full emotional intensity and almost no rational oversight. Does that sound familiar? It's the exact recipe for a dream. Vivid, illogical. Emotionally overwhelming. And almost impossible to question while it's happening. You don't think this hallway makes no sense inside the dream. You only think that after you wake up. So if your brain is that active, why can't you remember any of it? This is where the psychiatrist J. Allen Hobson spent much of his career. Hobson studied the sleeping brain for decades and proposed something called activation synthesis theory. The idea is simple but unsettling. Your brainstem fires off random electrical signals during REM sleep. Your cortex, the part that builds your sense of reality, doesn't know they are random. So it does what it always does. It tries to make sense of them. It builds a story. A face becomes a person you know. A falling sensation becomes a cliff. The story is real to you in the moment. But it was assembled, on the spot, from noise. Here's the stranger part. Building that story doesn't require committing it to long-term memory. Those are two completely separate jobs for your brain, and during REM sleep, only one of them is switched on. Memory formation depends heavily on a brain region called the hippocampus, along with chemical signals from a compound called norepinephrine. Norepinephrine helps tag an experience as worth keeping. During REM sleep, norepinephrine production drops to its lowest point of the entire day. Your brain is creating an intensely vivid experience, and at the very same moment, switching off the system that would normally save it. Why would evolution build something this strange? Why generate something so vivid and then refuse to remember almost any of it? Sleep researcher Matthew Walker has spent years studying exactly this question. Walker's research suggests REM sleep may function less like storytelling for its own sake and more like emotional processing. Your brain appears to use this state to take the rawest, most charged experiences from your day and strip the sharp emotional edge off them, while keeping the information intact. Not by deleting the memory, but by deciding what doesn't need to be experienced as a story you carry forward. Other researchers have pushed this even further. Neuroscientist Francesca Ciclari led brain imaging work identifying something now called the posterior hot zone, a region toward the back of the brain that appears to switch on right when dreaming begins, regardless of what sleep stage you're in. Her findings suggest dreaming isn't a side effect of REM sleep specifically. It's a distinct brain state that can happen almost any time you're asleep, REM or not. Which means the dreaming brain and the remembering brain may be two different systems entirely, only loosely connected, often working at cross purposes. Think about what that means. You are not failing to remember your dreams. There may never have been a memory to fail at. The experience and the recording were never the same process to begin with. This explains something almost everyone has noticed. You only remember dreams when something interrupts the system, an alarm going off mid-dream, a partner shaking you awake, a sound jolting you out of sleep before your brain finishes its handoff into the next stage. Wake up naturally, slowly, drifting up through lighter sleep, and the dream dissolves on the way. You're not forgetting it the way you forget a name. You're losing access to a story that was being built for an audience of exactly one, in real time, with no save file. There's an evolutionary angle here too. A brain that vividly remembered every dream might struggle to separate dreamed experiences from real ones. Confusing the two could be dangerous. Some researchers argue limited dream recall may actually be protective, a safeguard keeping your sense of reality intact each morning. Your forgetting isn't a malfunction. It might be a feature. So what about the dreams you do remember? The ones that feel important, prophetic, even like warnings. Most likely, you simply woke up at the right moment, mid-construction, before your brain finished its usual job of letting go. The dream felt significant because it was unusually intact, not because it carried some hidden message from somewhere else. Here's where it gets personal. Think about the last time you woke up from something intense and tried to explain it to someone, only to watch your own words fall apart halfway through the sentence. That wasn't you failing to describe it well. That was you watching the last fragments of a structure collapse in real time, the same structure your brain spent the entire night building, and was never going to keep. Every night, your brain runs an entire production. Characters, conflict, emotion, stakes that feel enormous while you're inside them. Then, almost every time, it deletes the file before the credits roll. Not because the experience didn't matter. Because remembering it was never the point. You wake up. For 1 second, you are still inside it. And then, just like that first morning, it's already gone. Except now you know it never really left. It just was never meant to stay.